Yo, what's up, dudes? It's your brub, Eagle Brubba, and in today's video, we are going to be going over the top 5 legendaries that you need to get early game before reaching level 30. I tried to compile down my top 5 that I've seen, that I've used as an early game player, because I know a lot of you guys might be coming to Borderlands 3 as a new player. Maybe you came from the movie you just watched and like, I gotta redeem myself by the horrendous thing that I just saw on the screen and play the game, beat the game. Well, you came to the right spot, because in this video, we're going to show you the top 5 legendaries to get early game that will hopefully carry you through your playthroughs and make your lives a lot easier out here in Borderlands 3. So the first gun at the number 5 spot we're going to be talking about is the Night Hawkin. Now, before I get into all of these guns, I do have a legendary weapon guide video for each of these that I will put in the description below. I might even throw it in the comments as well. So if you guys want to go check those out and see the specifics for each one, go click on that. It'll show you where to farm it, how to get those guns, even go through the wiki as well. But we're starting off with the Night Hawkin. Now, this dull SMG is unique because it actually changes elemental damage based on the time of the day. During the day, it's going to deal cryo damage, which freezes, slows down your enemies, and then also makes them vulnerable for follow-up attacks. And at night, it switches over to incendiary damage, which of course will take care of your flesh enemies, which I do find more likely to come across flesh enemies without shields in the early games. Of course, later game, you're probably going to need some shock, something to knock down those shields, but early game incendiary is gonna just melt through enemies. You can get this in burst or fully auto mode, so if you guys are going for this, go and try to get the fully auto. For me, that one seems to be the best route to take. And you can get this gun from I'm Rackman, located in Carnivora on Pandora. So if you guys want to farm for this, go ahead and get it. Again, I will put the video specifics down below if you guys want to check out the description, or even in the comments. I think I'll just throw it in the comments to make it a little bit easier for you guys. Next on the list at number 4, we have the assault rifle known as the Lucian's Call. Now, the Lucian's Call is a really good one to use, man, especially when it comes to crowd control and just sustained fire in general. Crit hits will ricochet bullets and return ammo to your magazine, so if you guys can get crits, definitely go for this. Maybe you're in Flax Fadeaway and you have that action skill activated. You guys are going to be just shooting for days with the Lucian's Call, man. Flat off assault rifle, and it does have a high fire rate and also great damage. But the big thing is the ricochet as well as the ammo regen on crit hits. Every critical shot will send a bullet flying into nearby enemies, and it will replenish ammo at the same time. So great, as I mentioned, for crowd control, and you'll never have to worry about running out of bullets during fights, which typically early game ammo can be a little scarce. You could get the Lucian's Call from either Blue Fire in the Slaughter Star 3000 or Dinklebot using the Ludograms, which honestly, I think that's going to be the best route, because the Ludograms are going to be very helpful just in early game, especially. You guys don't want to have to go all the way to the Slaughter Star 3000 and fight Blue Fire as an early player. I mean, all more power to you if you do, but best bet's going to be using the Ludogram method, which I will also include that in the description below, because we do have a video on how to use the Ludograms and get the most out of your legendary farming, which transitions perfectly into number 3 on the list, which I have as a legendary Hyperion shotgun, the Butcher fast-firing shotgun, and the fire rate on this thing is absolutely insane. It also has a chance to refill your ammo mid-fight, allowing for near continuous shooting without frequent reload. So kind of like the Lucian's Call, it's going to have kind of the same potential refill ability of your ammo, as you will. And unlike other shotguns, it does both close and medium range engagements really good. Just absolutely melts through enemies, making it both good for crowd control and boss fights. This has basically carried me early game, I feel like, through a lot of boss fights. You could get this the same exact method using the Ludograms that you do for the Lucian's Call as well. So the Lucian's Call and the Butcher, if you're going for these, use the Ludogram method. Again, I will put that video below, so definitely farm for that. And it's going to carry you quite a bit, especially in those boss fights as well. It's going to have the high damage for you without reloading as much. And as I mentioned in the previous one, it's going to be pretty scarce with ammo early game. Possibly your money might be low, etc., so you can't just buy ammo left and right. But anyway, there it is. There is number 3 on the list. And number 2 on the list, we have a Malawan pistol known as Hellshock. And Hellshock is actually a really good, really unique, and I want to say kind of OP gun, especially early games, because it is not one element, it is 2. It's going to be fire and shock every single time. and you can actually toggle between both fire and shock damage, making it versatile, especially in early game. You might not come across a lot of shielded enemies, but some of those boss fights, it may require shock damage, and you can switch the toggle to shock element, and then once the shield is down, you can switch it to fire and melt the enemies a lot quicker as well. So Hellshock, really good one for that. The shock damage is great for, of course, stripping enemy shields, while fire is perfect for dealing heavy damage to fleshy enemies. The pistol does have a ricochet projectile as well, which basically means you can hit multiple enemies at once. The cool thing is if you're in shock and the bullets ricochet, it will ricochet into fire, so it'll change the element as the bullets ricochet. Its dual elements give you an edge over shielded enemies and unshielded enemies, and its fast charge and fire rate make it deadly for most encounters. Now you can get the Hellshock from Vermalingua, located in the Splinterlands, so you can farm for this gun and get the Hellshock at a pretty early portion of the game, and this sucker can carry you quite a bit. Now, before we get into our #1 spot, I do want to throw in an honorable mention, the Rowan's Call Assault Rifle, and if you guys could get your hands and have a lucky world drop to where you get a Rowan's Call, this would be my #1 option. I would basically swap out this with the #1 coming up, of course, because the Rowan's Call, as it is a very powerful, probably one of the best assault rifles in the game, it is pretty difficult to get. Now, I do have a video on how to get easier Rowan's Call drops, so I will put that in the description below, but I know you have to be a little bit higher level, and I don't want you guys to have to get to a super high level to get these guns. Again, this is primarily made for early game legendary weapons, so if you guys can get the Rowan's Call, go for that. If not, no problem. You can get this gun from Red Rain and Slaughterstar 3000, but at that level, kind of early game, you're probably not going to be farming the Slaughterstar that much. So again, I will put the link to easier Rowan's Calls below, but this is definitely an honorable mention as probably one of my favorite assault rifles in the game. If you can get your hands on this early game, it will carry you probably through your next playthrough. At the #1 spot, I have to throw in there the Jacobs shotgun known as the Hellwalker. The Hellwalker is one of the most iconic and powerful shotguns in Borderlands 3. If you guys have seen other videos, you know the Hellwalker, you've seen it, and you know how powerful this freaking thing can do. It's a double-barrel blast shotgun, producing incredible damage and has high reload speed. It does only hold 2 shells, but the power, the strength of the Hellwalker makes up for those. It absolutely melts and decimates enemies. It also does deal huge fire damage as well, which is going to take out flesh-based enemies. Again, getting you through that early game because you're not going to come across that many shielded enemies. Of course, you'll come across a handful, but you're going to see those a lot more towards end game, later game, but flesh enemies are going to get absolutely melted, and the crit hit on this gun is insane, as all Jacob's weapons are, so you're going to be able to get a lot out of that. The reload animation is also really quick, allowing you to pump out consistent high damage blasts in close quarters combat. Now, the one thing that I will say is when it comes to mid and long range, obviously the Hellwalker isn't going to be your best bet, but if you do love shotguns, if you love pushing the pace, getting in enemies' faces, use the Hellwalker shotgun because it's going to be your best friend in the early game and going to carry you probably through your next playthrough as well. But anyway, guys, there was my top 5 early game legendary weapons. Of course, as I mentioned a couple times throughout the video, sorry if I sound like a broken record, I will put the links to all of these into the description below and also in the comment pinned, so go check those out if you guys want to see exactly where to farm these specific guns. Also, let me know in the comments below what your top 5 early game legendaries are. Again, this is only early game. I know there are a lot better legendaries out there the further you get, but early game, these are going to carry you and pretty much take you through and through the whole playthrough and make sure you're getting a little bit easier experience in Borderlands 3. Hopefully these guns will help you guys out. But anyway, if you guys do enjoy the content, man, be sure to hit the thumbs up, sub to the channel. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know as well. I might even go down to Borderlands 2 and do something like this. I'm just trying to help the early game guys out. Some of you guys that just started playing Borderlands 3, just got into it. And hopefully this video helps you guys out. Of course, if it does, hit that thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Appreciate you for stopping by. As always, peace.